Is this thing on? Maybe. I think it is. So I went to a dollar store today. They don't sell dollars there. It would be interesting if they did. Maybe they would sell it for less than $1 then. That would be a very successful business. So I was homeless. I've not been homeless for probably about 2 months. Now what I need to tell you is there's no reason that I should have been homeless. I'm going to chalk it up to administrative incompetence that is, not on my part. And, it's when mechanisms of government do not run as they should, all you can do is vote the people out of office. And that, I did vote. I'm not going to tell you who I voted for. Yes. But what I can say is that while I was homeless around in BWI Airport, there was an altercation. I was not the instigator. The MTA Police Department was. Now I can tell you this because, the case that they filed is long in the past. They dropped the case with no admission of guilt on my part, and somebody was really nice enough to mail in a payment for that. They were fining me for what they called fare evasion. I had a disability card. Do I have that? I think I do. Here it is. I think I'm going to keep this for a while. And, I'm going to cover my face on this because I don't like the... I got this today. That's why I'm making this video. I waited quite a long time to make a video because this was kind of the open wound that has been salted upon by each and every bus that I've had to take at full fare, which I've been paying for far too long. I do have a physical disability, and I do have other things that, I think I'll talk with a lawyer about. So, the disability I have also, obesity. I am very, let's see, I've got slow in my name, but, I don't like the weight. What I've got here is a card from M.MTA from my name. It says MTA reduced fare. Now, I want to point out that's not reduced fairness. When someone has a disability, they should not have to wait 2 weeks to get this card, which, they did approve me for kind of, I think in the start of the year. I do know that. I've actually got some text messages with some people that verified that they did send it to the mailbox that was being kept for me. I'll let the state and the city maybe fight about that. I'm about actually getting things done and supporting people who can do things. What I can say is that the altercation that happened was because I did not have what I had already been approved for, which is this card. If you don't get back to them in 30 days to get your picture taken and, as I'm looking at here, severely stretched to look as if you are even fatter than maybe the picture is. For whatever reason, they I don't know, I intend to get another one of these made for free maybe. If this is stolen from you, you have to pay $10 to get it replaced. If this gets stolen from you again, after that you have to pay $25 to get your disability fare ID replaced. It's a racket. Yeah. What a shame, to know that, as the most vulnerable in society, people with disabilities such as myself always have to put up with second-class treatment. The disability opener, for people in wheelchairs, I like to test these because I've found many times that those doors don't open. Today it did not open, just as it did 2 weeks ago when I applied for this identification from M.MTA that I got today at the William Donald Schaefer building. Go there and press that. They gave me a phone number for Department of General Services. That's who manages that state building. They said they've been trying to get it fixed, but, I don't take no for an answer. I brought this to the attention of my elected representative weeks ago, and I expect action. The switch that is internal to the facility does open the door. However, the switch that is external to the facility does not allow one to enter. It may allow two to enter if one would hold the door for the person in the wheelchair, or if the person in the wheelchair could open the door in a sufficient manner to gain entry to the place. So, you know, reduced fairness, I think, is what it is, because what they did to me on light rail is they asked for this proof, which I had already been told had been issued. And I did not think that I had to talk with that man. You know, I had to pay my fare. I continued to use my fare after that and before that. What they did was they briefly walked behind me and followed me as I left the light rail station, walking toward the Symphony Hall. I got some chopsticks here. I could probably do the. I could probably conduct an orchestra. I don't know. That seems pretty difficult. But you know, what I'll say is, I like to document things not because I'm an idiot, not because I'm a jerk. But I think that, you know, if you are to be afforded one convenience in life, it should be that you should have a good memory. If you don't have memory and reasoning skills to be able to think about a lot of things, and I don't always have that. You know, if I don't eat, as has been the case for kind of the past year, as you know, the independence card is really screwed up. The government shutdown caused it to be shuffled to the point that I almost starved. You cannot even use the independence card to purchase things at BWI Airport, as I did. I was a paying customer of the airport, and you know, I have nothing but respect for people who have to protect places. You know, I'm one of those people. I don't get paid for it. I don't have that job. However, you know, to be followed after I turn to take a picture of officers who had stopped their pursuit at many paces from myself, and then, let's say, manhandled, and told to put my phone in my pocket. I'm glad I did that. You know, I didn't have to stop the recording. So, you know, to be wrapped around a statue, and whatever that statue is that they've got there, that's actually near the MTA building. I talked to my elected representatives. I trust that there is going to be some sort of investigation internal to MTA to figure out how that happened. You know, to be asked who I voted for, you know, while I'm in handcuffs, you know, to be asked if I work for the governor, no, I don't. For the record, I'm unemployed, and I have been for many months. You know, this is not the treatment that one should give to a disabled person, much less anybody. No one should have to go through what I've gone through. And, you know, to me, it is, you know, I think of it as, what if it were someone that were not me, but someone who were perhaps in my family and older than me. My father's passed away. My mother had passed away a long time ago. 1984 is when she passed away. Dad passed away in 2009. You know, to ride MTA and to see misspellings on the electronic signage, only to note it to MTA when they, you know, there was a supervisor. I guess what was it? Somebody with that an administration patch for MTA on their arm. Today I rode to the mall, the East Point Mall. That mall's in yeah, that's that place has been there for a long time. There used to be a Bank of America there. Bank of America, you know, that's the Bank of America that I went to try and get a loan to repair some problems in my house. They denied it so the bank would have an easier route to repossess my house. It is, you know, I had to sell my house ultimately because, you know, when the bank cannot do its job to make sure that someone with stellar credit, and I will note that, I have beautiful credit. You know, a lot of things have kind of come together to try and harm that, but I'm happy to say that I am somebody who is impeccable credit. That's all I'm going to say. I've got reports that show that for years, and my dad told me this. I follow that. If you have one of those revolving credit cards, if you've got autism, don't revolve trying to think about whether to pay it or not. What I'll say is this: pay it in the full balance you can every single month. Why? Because it makes sure that the bank hates you. Because they don't get to make money off of interest fees and late fees and other things. I did that for years. And there is now a lawsuit pending, Douglas Winslow versus Bank of America. You may see it kind of as the reverse in case search. Go look at that, by the way. As you see, maybe there's a nice kind of a scattered array of cases there that people think that they can gain merit on. Me, however, I'm saying that I don't, as a matter of principle, confront things unless I think they need to be confronted. So the recording that I have is of myself being assaulted by many MTA police officers, and I consider many to be more than one or two. I did not resist, other than to say "ouch" and other, some other things. We'll talk about that. What was it, Stephen L. Miles? Let's talk about it. I'd like to really, kind of get that out of the way and move on with whatever life has to enjoy. MTA reduced fare. You bet it is. Gosh. Have you tried to be 300 pounds standing on MTA holding onto one of those kind of misengineered things that they put overhead that you have to kind of, what is it? There's Kirk Avenues near here. If you have Star Trek, let's talk about that. Let's kind of lighten the mood here. Have you ever seen Star Trek? Gosh, Scotty, that guy. If he had to run MTA, I don't know how to say that. He would have the power to do a lot of things, I'll say that. But Star Trek 2, I think that's the best one. That's the Wrath of Khan. Then there was The Search for Spock. That was number 3. But, I like to be a jovial person. I like to enjoy life. I don't like to be mired down in, George Carlin said words you shouldn't say on TV. Technically, this isn't TV. I think BS. I'll just say that. I don't like the BS of Baltimore. The mayor left town is from what I hear. I don't know. I don't keep up on politics. I'm not a politician. That's, like I said, not my want or need to get into that field, because it's, William Shatner probably did he get in politics? Did Gene Roddenberry get in politics? Who got in politics? Maybe Brent Spiner, Commander Data, that guy. That'd be something. Reginald Barclay, Star Trek: The Next Generation. This is Barclay, Baltimore. I only mentioned that, but this is kind of an interesting area. This is a housing benefit because I've applied to Social Security. I feel pretty secure here socially, other than the fact it's an underfunded neighborhood. There's a lot of things that are different. But, I've been to some other places that are very different also. This is my father and I rode on the DC Metro. I found out that this card probably works on the MTA bus. This is kind of like the Charm card. It's got the kind of pretty cool word art that you would expect from being funded by a major metropolitan concern. Jeez. But yeah, Dad and I went to the District of Columbia. We saw everything that we needed to see, I guess. But, I was not able to get a photograph of Dad in front of the White House. I have since revisited the White House. So that's... White House, interesting place. I heard they've redone the fence there. Good for them. Also made a kind of a not so brief trip back when I was working, like years ago. This is like 2007 or something like that. In the interim, I worked for the city at the water department. Did a lot of things, wonderful things to, do whatever I guess they like doing there. But Yokoso, Japan. So this is a Suica card. This is one of several contactless payment systems that you put onto the system, which it can detect the. It's just like the Smart Trip card, but it's a different standard. Things don't interoperate, sometimes for reasons that I don't know or care about. But, I'm happy to have traveled a lot of miles. I was at BWI Airport. They've got a really cool crab there. I didn't know that. to start walking around that airport, you'll see a lot of things that a lot of people probably would not know about that airport. Write a book about it. I think, if you're good with words, do as much as you can to communicate what you can while you can. I learned that not having food. I went to the dollar store today. That's how it's going to have to be till EBT refills in a few days. But, taking things gracefully, that's what I like to do. I was talking about Reginald Barkley. Dwight Schultz is the actor who played that character. Maybe he'll play him again. I don't know. That was the story of my life for many years. In school and in other places. If you watch those shows, aside from those episodes where they have the really weird stuff going on with the computers, I don't know. They have a lot of cool things. Acudograms. Look those up. Michael Acuda made these. What is it? Where they'd have like the signage and things. And I see what we have kind of around downtown and things like that. We have an MTA sign around downtown that is so tall that if you walk up to it, the sunlight bounces off of it. You cannot even read the sign, the bus stop sign. Go look at my Google Maps reviews. I think I posted that to the MTA offices. So, I don't know. Signage and wayfinding, that's always interested me. Ever since I was a kid, I liked getting books of signs and reading all the cool things you could buy. So anyway, we're talking about the actor that played the character that I mentioned. Reginald Barkley was very subdued. He was very shy. Didn't talk much. Very soft voice. It took a lot to get him to do things. It took a lot to get him to be brave enough to do things that he did not want to do, maybe, or that, there's no motive for Starfleet. They don't pay those guys. What is it? It's they just go around looking for stuff and doing whatever they. I guess they make TV shows, but I'm just getting whatever kind of faux Starfleet stuff I could find at the dollar store. I got these clothespins. I've been kind of putting these where they might make sense to put these during the day, and why? Because you never know when somebody might need something. I found some things when I did not have a place to go, as well as when I did, and I thought maybe get some things at the dollar store and see what kind of fun I can have with what we have here in and around Baltimore City. That is where I live at this time. But I don't want to bore you with a lot of things that you might not want to hear about. All that I can say is that I had the right to ride MTA. And if you know of the character that I mentioned, if you can imagine an episode that you would never want to see of that show, maybe you should talk to your elected representative. But I've also got people might have seen me carrying. What is this? I've actually refilled this since I've got this. Fiji water. What is this? I heard from my family that my grandfather years ago went to Fiji for whatever reason, and I would be very happy to be able to talk more with them about a lot of things, but mainly Dad and Granddad, or Grandpa Winslow, as I know. But there was a young girl today that asked me, "Why do you buy Fiji water?" It's like, I don't. I just refill it. We got the best water in the world in Baltimore, don't we? Maybe ask the director about that. Again, I'll say this in all honesty. I have no reason to doubt that. So, yeah. Oh, what do you want to? For the record, here. Yeah, sorry. So, I hope to stay in touch with you more, but it is a different world than it was when I was growing up. It is a very different world than it was when Dad was around. Definitely a different world than when Mom and Dad were around. But I am in contact with family and friends and others, and communication is not something that I'm very good at. Some people tell me that actually they did, but I don't know about now. But I hope to communicate with you maybe on a better basis than I used to which is very posed. You know, maybe let's have fun. How about that? You know, this is, what is this? This is Charm City. It's not very charming when you got to fight the bus all the time. It's not very charming when you got to go walking around looking for the bus stop, only to find that it's hidden behind a pole somewhere because you know, some planner maybe made the wrong thing on a map or something, or you know, it's not charming to report things such as the open electrical covers on the lampposts, the 311. Many calls that I've made while I was employed with the city, as well as after, that have not resulted in a wide-scale correction of that problem, which would cause very much harm to anyone who would come in contact with what is in those light poles. So this is a 20-minute video. Oh my gosh. You know, I don't want to waste too much whatever fake metric they have to meter videos and internet and all this other stuff. So it's 21 minutes now. I think I'll maybe call it a night. What is it? What time is it? It's 11:58, you know? It's almost tomorrow. Isn't that always the thing? And tomorrow it'll almost be tomorrow again, you know? But to say that, you know, maybe it should always be yesterday in some kind of corner of your existence, I think that's maybe a good way to think of how to move forward in life. Thank you.